Call it the politics of fear. President Bush used it to be reelected in 2004, and apparently Rudy Giuliani thinks it might work for him in 2008. In a speech last night, the Republican frontrunner suggested if a Democrat wins the White House in 2008, the United States could be at risk for another major terror attack. Where have we heard this stuff before? He said if a Democrat gets elected, quoting now, "We're going on defense. We'll wave the white flag on Iraq. We'll cut back on the Patriot Act, electronic surveillance, interrogation, and we'll be back to our pre-September 11th attitude of defense. The Democrats do not understand the full nature and scope of the terrorist war against us," unquote. Giuliani added if a Republican wins, particularly him, terror attacks will be anticipated and stopped. The Democratic presidential candidates all firing back as expected. Senator Barack Obama says that Giuliani has, quote, taken the politics of fear to a new low, unquote. He says when it comes to fighting terrorists, America is united. And then there's this, since Giuliani's positions on social issues risk alienating some Republicans, the strategy of being tough on national security could help to sway those voters. Here's the question. Will 9/11 politics help or hurt Rudy Giuliani in his race for the White House? Michael writes, the public is no longer fully convinced of the official story of 9/11. If Rudy expects to run on that story, he can expect incredulity. If the politics of fear is all he has, the public will abandon him in favor of politics of values, hope, and truth. C writes, why doesn't someone remind the Republicans they were in charge when 9/11 happened? Elliot in Princeton, New Jersey, like Bush, Giuliani's a political beneficiary of 9/11. The careers of both were in limbo until it enabled them to both play Rambo. Both are one-trick ponies. Giuliani can be expected to shout 9/11 forever because he has nothing else going for him. Adam in Brooklyn, New York, Rudy Giuliani guided New York City through the horrors of 9/11, displayed a sense of courage and leadership necessary for the presidency. Senator Obama might not like to hear it, but many Americans who are drawn to Mayor Giuliani's strength on national security issues are not well assured that Obama has the experience to prosecute the war on terror. John writes from Arizona, I like Rudy. I find it very disappointing he's going to make use of the worst of President Bush's campaign tactics. The nation needs to move on from the disaster that President Bush has brought to America, and using his campaign tactics is not the way to achieve that. Shirley writes from Atlanta, Giuliani can't even get the support of its firefighters in New York City. When everyone sees exactly what he did and didn't do, his candidacy will be over. If the Republican Party thinks 9/11 and terrorism are the only issues, they're in for a rude awakening. And Daniel writes, it's not a question of whether 9/11 politics will help Giuliani or not. They already have by getting him into this race.